Imagine it's a quiet night, just like any other. The wind is howling outside and you're home alone, nestled on the couch, scrolling through your phone. Suddenly you feel it, that unmistakable chill down your spine, as if someone or something is watching you. But when you look around, nothing's there, or so you think. Tonight, I'm taking you into a terrifying story that has haunted a small town for years. A story so disturbing that locals refuse to speak of it. This is the tale of the empty eyes. A true account that will make you question the safety of your own home. It all started with the disappearance of Sarah and Tom, a young couple who had recently moved into an old Victorian house on the outskirts of town. They were eager to start a new chapter in their lives, excited to turn this worn-down place into their dream home. But little did they know the house had a past, a dark, sinister past that would soon consume them. From the very first night, they knew something wasn't right. It began as faint footsteps echoing down the hallway, as if someone was walking right outside their bedroom. Then came the whispers, soft, unintelligible murmurs that seemed to come from inside the walls. At first they tried to ignore it, assuming it was just the quirks of an old house, but as the days went by, the sounds grew louder, more insistent, more menacing. One night, Sarah woke up suddenly, a cold chill wrapping around her like an icy grip. She sat up, feeling as though she wasn't alone. When she looked around the darkened room, her eyes fell upon a figure at the foot of the bed. Cloaked in shadow, the figure's face was pale, its eyes empty, hollow, staring right at her. She couldn't scream, she couldn't move. All she could do was stare back into those lifeless eyes, paralyzed with terror. Tom jolted awake, snapping her out of her frozen terror. But by then, the figure had vanished, leaving nothing behind but a cold chill in the air and a lingering sense of dread. Tom tried to console her, convincing her it must have been a nightmare. But deep down, Sarah knew it was something far worse. The next day, they decided to speak to a neighbor, hoping for some rational explanation. But as soon as they mentioned the house, the neighbor's face turned pale. In a hushed voice, he told them of a terrible story. A tale of the house's previous occupant, Eleanor, a woman who had once lived there and who, according to local legend, had met a violent end at the hands of her own husband. They learned that Eleanor was said to have been murdered in that very bedroom. The details were scarce, but the story went that she had been left to die alone, filled with bitterness and rage. Since then, she had been seen roaming the house, her eyes void of life, and yet searching, always searching. As the days went on, the haunting grew stronger. Doors would slam shut on their own, lights would flicker uncontrollably, and strange cold spots would appear throughout the house. Sarah could no longer sleep, haunted by the vision of those empty eyes. And Tom, though he tried to be brave, was starting to hear the whispers himself, echoing voices that called to him, warning him, taunting him. Then, one night, Sarah decided she couldn't take it anymore. She told Tom she needed to find out what was haunting them, to understand who or what was in the house. Despite his protests, she ventured into the darkest corner of the basement, drawn by an overwhelming sense of dread and something else, something she couldn't explain. At the bottom of the basement stairs, she found an old, forgotten portrait. It was of Eleanor, her once beautiful face now twisted with sorrow and anger, her eyes as empty as Sarah remembered. Staring at the painting, Sarah felt a wave of grief wash over her. as if Eleanor's pain had reached out across time to touch her. That night, the nightmares were worse. She dreamt of Eleanor's last moments, of her screams echoing through the empty halls. She could feel Eleanor's anguish, her betrayal, her rage, and her desire for revenge. Sarah woke up drenched in sweat, her heart pounding. But as she opened her eyes, she realized she wasn't alone. Standing in the corner of the room was the figure, Eleanor. This time, she didn't disappear. She stepped closer, her empty eyes filled with a malevolent purpose, as if she had chosen Sarah as her next victim. The following morning, Tom awoke to find Sarah gone. He searched every inch of the house, his calls echoing unanswered through the empty rooms. But Sarah had vanished without a trace. The police found no signs of a struggle, no evidence of her ever leaving the house. It was as if she had simply disappeared. To this day, no one knows what happened to Sarah. Some say Eleanor took her, trapping her spirit in the house to share in her eternal suffering. Others believe that Sarah became part of the house itself, forever cursed to wander its dark halls. And now, when people pass by that old house, they claim to see two figures at the window, two pairs of empty, hollow eyes staring back. So next time you feel that chill down your spine or see a shadow move in the corner of your room, remember Sarah. Remember Eleanor, because sometimes the spirits of the past don't stay in the past. They come back searching, waiting, watching. Some stories are best left untold, but once you know, can you ever forget? Pause to assess. But what happened after Sarah's disappearance? The house where the legend of Eleanor began remained standing, a silent sentinel to the horrors within. Pause to assess. Local authorities were baffled. Searches were conducted, yet no trace of Sarah was ever found. Tom, devastated and consumed by guilt, moved away, hoping distance would erase the memories. Pause 2S. Neighbors speak in hushed tones of strange occurrences, lights flickering, whispers in the dead of night, and shadows moving where none should be. Pause 2S. Some say Eleanor's spirit still roams, seeking vengeance or perhaps just someone to listen to her sorrowful tale. Pause 1S. Pause 2S. In the end, the house stands as a grim reminder that some mysteries are never meant to be solved, and those who dare to uncover them may never find their way back. Pause 3S. Pause 1S. Remember, curiosity can be a dangerous thing. Pause 2S. Stay safe and always be wary of the stories you choose to explore. Pause 3S. Pause 1S. Until next time, dear viewer. Pause 2S. Pause 2S. But the story doesn't end there. Driven by the chilling events, a team of paranormal investigators decided to delve deeper into the mystery of Eleanor's house. Pause 2S. Equipped with cameras, EVP recorders and other ghost hunting gear, they entered the house hoping to uncover the truth. Pause 2S. As they wandered through the dimly lit corridors, they captured unsettling sounds. Whispered voices, faint cries, and the unmistakable feeling of being watched. Pause 2S. In one of the rooms, they discovered an old journal, its pages filled with desperate scrawls detailing Eleanor's tragic life and the events leading up to her death. Pause 2S. The journal revealed a side of Eleanor that no one knew, a victim of betrayal and sorrow, her spirit bound to the house by the pain she endured. Pause 2S. Despite the fear that gripped them, the investigators pressed on. They conducted a séance, hoping to communicate with Eleanor's spirit. Pause 2S. The atmosphere grew tense as the temperature dropped, and the lights flickered ominously. Pause 2S. Suddenly, a voice broke through the static of their EVP recorder, a mournful whisper saying, "Help me." Pause 2S. The team was shaken but determined to bring peace to Eleanor's restless spirit. They performed a cleansing ritual, urging Eleanor to find the light and move on. Pause 2S. As the ritual concluded, a profound silence filled the house. It was as if for the first time in decades the house could finally breathe. Pause 2S. The investigators left, hoping they had given Eleanor the peace she deserved. But as they reviewed their footage, they noticed something chilling. An apparition of a woman standing at the window, watching them leave. Pause 2S. Did they truly help Eleanor? Or did they awaken something far more sinister? The house remains an enigma wrapped in shadows, waiting for the next curious soul to uncover its secrets. Pause 2S. Remember, some mysteries are best left unsolved. Pause 3S. Stay curious but stay safe. Pause 2S. Until next time, dear viewer. Pause 2S. Pause 2S. But even the most chilling tales can have resolutions. Pause 2S. After the investigators' visit, the town's curiosity about Eleanor's house grew. Pause 2S. A local historian, intrigued by the findings, decided to dig deeper into Eleanor's past. Pause 2S. What she discovered would change everything. Pause 2S. Hidden away in the town's archives was a collection of letters and documents that painted a fuller picture of Eleanor's life. Pause 2S. It turned out that Eleanor was not just a victim of betrayal and sorrow, but also a woman wrongfully accused of witchcraft. Pause 2S. The townsfolk's fear and superstition had led to her untimely demise, and her spirit remained bound to the house, seeking justice. Pause 2S. Armed with this new information, the historian and a team of spiritual healers returned to the house for one final attempt to set Eleanor free. Pause 2S. They performed a detailed ritual acknowledging Eleanor's suffering and absolving her of the false accusations. Pause 2S. As they chanted, a warm light filled the room, and for the first time there was a sense of peace. Pause 2S. The air felt lighter and the oppressive atmosphere that had long haunted the house lifted. Pause 2S. The historian reported that Eleanor's apparition was never seen again, and the house remained calm. Pause 2S. It was as if Eleanor had finally found the justice and peace she deserved. Pause 2S. The story of Eleanor's house serves as a reminder of the dangers of fear and superstition and the enduring power of truth and justice. Pause 2S. While the house still stands, it is now a place of reflection rather than fear. Pause 2S. And so, the mystery of Eleanor's house is finally solved, bringing an end to a tragic chapter in the town's history. Pause 2S. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Pause 2S. Stay curious and always seek the truth. Pause 2S. Until next time, dear viewer. Pause 2S.